Hi, Patty. I was just adjusting the light to see if I could get a little bit better. How are you today, Patty? I don't know. That might work. We'll try that. All right, so I don't know. It looks like just a couple of us right now, and that's just great. We'll get started. It's a bright and sunny but cold day here in Montana, so it's a good day to color. I need to go bed shopping today, though. I have been suffering with a bad back and hip thanks to my bed, so good working on crafting things all day. That's awesome. Very good. Hi, Danny. So today I was super excited to see when I was trying to decide what set to color. It's so hard because there's so many favorites, and I get decision anxiety when it's my turn to do a live color along because I just don't quite know. It's so hard to narrow it down. But when I saw that this Fawn'd set returned in the shop, I was like, yes, that's the one I'm gonna do. I was super excited about it. Hang on a sec, I gotta let my dog out. Daddy's supposed to be watching you. So anyway, I was super excited. You can relate, huh, Danny? I was super excited that this one came back in, and I decided that this would be a fun one to color. Many of you may not even have this set because I think it's been out of stock for quite some time, but it's definitely been one of my favorites. This is the card I made last night. I always have to I don't know, do a practice run before well, I usually do. It seems like the days that I don't, it doesn't turn out as well. So usually I try to do a practice run before I do my lives, just in case I have a big color boo-boo or I don't like the colors I use or something. So this little bunny is part of the set, and I colored him up last night. He's going on a card as well. This set is so great for Easter, as well as just spring, as well as just, you know, thinking of you, just encouragement. It has somebody, let's see if I can do this better. Here we go. Here's to you, somebody is thinking of you, so fond of you, and such a dear friend, with these 3 adorable images. There we go. So how about if we get color in? I'll leave this one kind of off on the side. My colors today, I should have written them down. I didn't know if many people would have these. Patty said she may be coloring along, so that's fantastic. I'm using the traditional skin tone combo of the E04, E11, E21, and E00. And we'll start with skin tone. The other colors I'm using on the Fawn, you have it, but you've never used it. Well, today will be perfect, Margaret. After you watch the video, or while you're watching the video, you can color with us. That'd be fantastic. The deer is E37, 35, 31. The bunny is W1, W00, and W3. The T series would be really cute with that if you have them too. And so yeah, that's the main color combos for now, and then we'll work our way through the others as we go. So grabbing my E series markers. All right, let's see here. Okay, is this close enough for you guys? I can try to zoom in a little bit if you'd like. Oh, geez, I did it again. Good Lord, I don't know how I do that all the time. Yeah. Sorry, guys. In practice, I zoom in just great, but when it's live, I can't seem to get it to work. Oh, here we go. Hi, Carla. We're just having a little technical difficulty here, operator issue, while I'm flipping my camera back and forth to the ceiling. Well, hopefully that's going to be okay. Sorry, guys. I can't seem to get it to zoom. I don't know why it does that once I'm in live, why it doesn't work. Oh, for goodness sakes. All right, we're leaving it because otherwise I'm going to get all stressed out and sweaty and shaky, and we're just going to go with it. So if need be, I can drop the camera down a little bit, but we'll just see how we do. It's fine. Thanks, Carla. Okay, so we're going to start with our skin tone. And this is my pretty typical classic skin tone combo that I use, which is the E04, E11, E21, and E00. So I'm going to start with the E04. And sometimes this one blobs a little, so I'm taking both caps off just in case. Oh, I got to get my glasses on. What did I do with them? Oh, there they are. Okay. I was super prepared. You'd never guess. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm just going to start with just a super fine line around her hairline, figuring that her hair is kind of shading her face. With the E04. And I'm going to just put a little bit there, a little bit under her chin. And we'll start with that, and then we'll move to her legs and arms. So that was E04. Then my next color is E11. And I'm just going to go mostly right over the top of that E04 because I don't want it to be super dark. And I'm just going to extend out a little bit more, but I'm going pretty much right over the top of it and pulling it out a little bit. Just to soften it a little. We don't want it to be too shadowy, if that makes sense. Give her nose just a little bit of a... Yeah, I'm not gonna like that. She's gonna look like she's got a... All right, so that's E11. Then E21 is my next color, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going over, not all the way over, but close to my original line and pulling it out a little bit more. Using broader strokes on this one. I don't know if I'm gonna like her nose like that. I might have to use my... I didn't do that on my other one. I don't know what possessed me to mess with her nose this time, but whatever. Okay, and then E00 is my last color. Marker challenged. Here we go, E00. And now I'm going over everything. I'm grabbing it. I'm not going all the way to the edge, but close. Pulling it in. Going over it with I'm doing pretty broad strokes. Kind of working in a circle, and now I'm going to go over everything. Pulling color from the outer edge into the middle of her face. Ah, and her nose turned out okay. Shocker. All right, and then same on her little neck. Okay, oh, thank you, Carla, for linking that. I appreciate that. Let's see, so before we get too far, I'm gonna give her a little bit of rosiness in her cheeks. And my typical go-to is the R20. And I'm just gonna kind of put a little bit out here on the outer edges of her face. I try not to be too circular with it, but you know, sometimes it's hard. It just is what it is. And then I'm gonna blend it in with the E00 again. So it, you know, kind of soften the edges of what I just did. I'm not going completely over the pink because I do want it to show, but I'm going around the edges a little so that it softens. right, so there's her face. Now I'm just gonna repeat the process. I'm probably just gonna do her arms and her legs at the same time. So starting again with that EO4. And let's see, she's got a little bit of a sleeve. So her fingers are so small. I'm not going to do the EO4 on her fingers. I'm just gonna go around them and then just put a I'm just hardly touching my marker right by the basket there. And then around this flower and under her sleeve. And I think I got her arm. Come up around her elbow a little bit too. And then her leg, the inside, and right under her pants. And there we go, there's our EO4. Then I'm gonna grab, it's on your wish list. You don't have it, Carla? Oh, it has been out of stock for quite a while. I'm happy you're gonna be able to get it. All right, this is the E11. And again, I'm going right over the top of what I did and just pulling out just a hair, not a ton, just a little bit more than where it was. So her fingertips I'll do with this E11. And I'm just kind of dotting in there because they're pretty fine details. And I'm not stretching a ton. I'm just really almost going over only the EO4. Pulling it out just a teeny tiny bit because this is a pretty small space. And actually, if it feels uncomfortable to you to use it in that small space, just go right to E11 and then do your other three, your E11, E21, E00 combo, and that will work just fine. So here's E21, and I'm pulling it out a little bit more this time. Going right over the top of what I did before and pulling it out a little bit more. The EO4, if you go in a little tiny bit, which I've done, isn't going to make it too dark. And we're pulling out that color with the lighter colors anyway. So, and it always looks darker before you get the other color in there, the lightest colors in there. Oh, sorry, and then it looks darker when you, I meant to say when you add, it looks lighter when you add the other colors around it, the clothing and the hair. So now I'm going over everything with the E00. Giving it a chance to kind of blend. I'm just kind of going back and forth a little bit with this. It's such a tiny space, and all I'm really trying to do is to get that darkest line to pull out a little bit, and it'll blend in. For anybody who's wondering, I am using Copic Express paper today. I've been trying it for a while, and I'm getting the hang of it. I'm going to come back to her little leg down here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of E21 because, oops, wrong end. Because there's just kind of like a white space I can't seem to get to fill in. So I'm just going to fill that in. I'll let that sit for a minute, and then I'm going to add some more E0 in a few minutes. Okay, there's her skin tone. Whew, I'm warm all of a sudden. Okay, now we're going to work on her shirt. And I chose a yellow for that. I didn't like the combo I picked earlier, so I switched it up a little bit for today. And we're gonna do a Y13, Y15, and a tiny bit of Y17. Thank you, Carla. Hey, hey, Sabrina. I had used originally, it was a little bit almost too neon. I used a Y00, Y01, Y02, and Y06, and then I filled in a little dark, and it's okay. It just was a little bit, I don't know, I thought it was a little too bright. So this time we're gonna try 11, 13, and, or sorry, 13, 15, and 17. So I'm gonna start with 15. And I'm just gonna come into the parts that are kind of darker. Come around her shirt collar, where her hair's shadowing it. And down here is her shirt as well. So we're gonna fill in what you can see of her shirt in this spot right down here. Okay, that's 15, Y15. I probably said E15. I meant Y. And then I'm gonna come in with Y13, and I'm just gonna blend what I just did and add color. I'm leaving the edges of her sleeves uncolored at the moment, because I'm deciding if I want to do all yellow or if I want to add a little bit of another color. Okay, that was Y13. And I can see that I want to put a little bit more 15 here. Just kind of dotting it in. Back up under her chin again. And then this time I'm going to grab 17, which is a pretty bright yellow. I've only had this one for a little while. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to make this darker. Okay, then I'm going to do one more coat, one more layer of the Y13. And I'm kind of using, what do I want to say, strokes, kind of like a little bit longer strokes as I'm going down the body of the shirt. And kind of just flicking up around the flowers and the basket. And down here, I'm just gonna dot a little of the Y13 where I put the Y15, just so it's not quite so dark. There we go. And I'm still thinking about her shirt cuffs, so I'm gonna leave those alone for right now. Let's work on her basket. And her basket is an E41, E43, and E44. E41, 43, 44. I'm going to start with E41. And I'm just going to color the whole basket except for this top piece. I'm leaving that out. I accidentally did the corner, but that's okay. I'm just coloring the basket. I'm just giving it a coat of the E41. I'm not being super particular about how even I'm laying down the color on this part because I'm going to add some texture. Yeah, me too, Sabrina. Every time I try to branch out on the yellow, it seems like I end up going back to that same combo. It's funny. We're creatures of habit, I guess. Next is E43, and I'm going to come in and do the top, the edge of the basket. and the handle. And I'm just using the tip of my, oops, I colored a little bit of the flower, but that'll cover up. Just the tip of my marker. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create like some texture, like it's a weaved basket. So I'm just gonna come in and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball with my E43, and I'm gonna make some diagonal lines. Just like that. And then I'm just gonna come around the edge a little bit and the bottom. Okay. Then I'm gonna use the E44 and I'm gonna come in just at the bottom here and at the underside of the handle. And I'm going to come in ever so lightly along the bottom edge of the basket brim. And then I'm gonna flip this baby, because I have to, because my brain can't go the other direction unless I flip it. And I'm gonna create some more diagonal lines. And this is with the E44. Okay, then I'm just going to add a little bit of the darker just at the very bottom corner along the edge, and along the edge a little bit. Then I'm going to take my E41 again, and I'm going to go over the whole basket. And I'm just going over, I'm just washing it a little bit. And you can see that it's pulling out some of the color that we just laid down. That's okay, we're gonna go over it again. I didn't want it to be super stark, but we're gonna add it back in again, I promise. Okay, while that's good and saturated, I'm gonna take my E43 and I'm going to pull in a little bit of the bottom basket again and the edge. Then I'm going to grab my E41 and pull it out a little bit more, just a hair. I just want a little more depth at the bottom, but I don't want like a solid line. Okay, then I'm gonna take my E43 again, and I'm gonna go back over my stripes, my lines, I should say, my basket weave. And because there's a lot of the E41 on there, it's not quite as stark, and it's kind of, what do I say, saturating in, blending down into it a little bit. And then I'm gonna flip this again, and I'm gonna go over it with the E44. And I'm going the other way too. I'm gonna go back over what I just did. There we go. And I'm gonna grab my E41, and I'm just gonna go over those lines, only the lines. Not over the whole thing, because I've already been over that a couple, 3 times. Just over the lines. So that they're in there, they're texture, but they're not hit you in the face. There we go. I think we'll call that good. That's the basket. All right. How about if we work on her little jeans? Let's see here. So I used the B90 series for her jeans. If you have 3 of them or 3 blues, thank you, Sabrina. If you have 3 of the blue colors, the 32, 34, 31, the 24, 20s, or even a tan jeans would be really cute, or a dark green maybe. But I'm using the B95. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, but 3 is really all you need. Let's see here, I always have to look up. This is B99, and it is gonna be the lightest touch, like just a super, super light line on the insides of her jeans and under her basket. And then I'm gonna come in and create the crease a little bit, and just at the bottom. Super light line. Those are your go-to colors also? Yeah, thanks, Danny. I learned that a long, long time ago, and I've tried a couple other colors, and they're okay, but it's always my favorite. I go back to it. So this is 97, so I'm kind of doing like what I did with the skin. I have the tiniest line. Really, it probably could have even been a little thinner, but that's okay. And now I'm going over almost entirely and extending out a little bit more from where I was with the 99 with the 97. And it's a real dark color too, so, and this time I'm gonna pull in a little bit on the outer edge and underneath. And just really touched it, okay? Hey, Carrie. Same for you too, Sabrina. Nice. All right, this is 95, and I'm gonna be a little more bold with this. I'm gonna go over it, pull it in. I like how the 95s blend together too. Like they really do complement and blend each other really well. And then I'm just going over a little bit more where I've been. Not completely starting over, but close. Filling in. There we go. And then I'm gonna do B93. And I'm kind of stroking with my 93. Almost flicking, kind of stroking. Because I want a shadow up here, but I don't want it to be a line. And I got it, so I'm pretty happy about that. All right, then my last color is gonna be my B91. And it's just gonna fill in where the white is, more or less. And I'm just gonna kind of flick it down. And it's pretty, it pretty much moves that color in a hurry. Sometimes I'll go over it a little bit with the 93 because it washes it out too much, but there we go. They look pretty cute. Alrighty, let's see. For her flowers, actually we'll do those last. Let's work on her boots. Her boots, I picked a G05 and a G03. And this is not a color combo I use very often, and so that's why I challenged myself to do it. I wanted her to have kind of bright, almost shiny kind of boots to be out in the flower garden with. So I'm going to start with this G05. And I'm just coming under the tops. And I'm going to go around the edges of the boot. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a thickness around the heel here and the bottom. and over here. Just touching with the tip of the marker. That's GO5. GO3 is going to come in and blend kind of over the top of that. I'm not touching the very top line I did underneath the edge of the boot strap. Because I want that to be dark, and I don't necessarily, a little darker, and I don't necessarily think I need to do it again, over it again, so. These little boots would be really fun to do with colored pencils too, because there's some pretty fine details in them. There we go. Pretty easy. Might just give it another coat. There's her green boots. All right, then I used for the top of her boot, oh, what did I use? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if I used an RV04. Nope, I think the 04 was the flowers. I used an RV06 on her boots for the pink parts. So that's going to be the top part of the boot up here. And then I colored in some of the flowers pink as well. So I did, and I'm just touching my marker tip in the little petal places. That's all I need to do is just touch it. And not even like pushing down, because if I push down, I'm going to get a blob. I don't want a blob. There's those. Oh, hey Kim, you fell asleep. Oh, it's so nice to take a nap in the daytime. That's awesome. I don't care at all that you were late. I'm glad you got some good rest. So Y08 is what I used for the center of these flowers here. And then this time I'm going to use the yellow. Yeah, I'm going to just keep it on the middles, I guess. I was going to do these little buds, but I think I'll do them orange. Okay, and then for the orange middles, I used a Y04, I think. Yeah, we're going to try Y04. And I'm going to do the petals orange. They're just buds, I guess, little buds. And then the white part that I didn't color on a couple of these flowers. I want a pair of fun boots like this. Those are so cute. Been a crazy couple of weeks. Yeah, boy, I can relate, Miss Kim. It's so springy. I was telling everyone that was on earlier that it's not just an Easter set, but it's wonderful for that. But it's also just a, you know, it's a great spring set. It's a great hello encouragement set. Thinking of you. I mean, it's got lots of purposes. Her boot bottoms I did in an N5, I think. Yeah, N5 on the bottoms of her boots. Hello, Damari. And again, just touching, because these are little tiny details. So I'm just touching the tip of my marker to the bottoms. Ta-da! Okay, flower time. So what do you guys think? Should I leave her sleeves white, or should I maybe make them pink and tie them in with her boots? She's gonna have a bunch of pink flowers in her arms, so actually no pink. Might leave them white or yellow, we'll see. Okay, so for the flowers, I did the leaves in G24 and 28. There they are. I guess I didn't pull those markers out of my bag. Okay, so starting with the G24. And there's a little flower or leaf here and here. Truth be told, those things were probably leaves on her boots, but since I did her boots in green, they became buds. That's the way it is. Let's see, there's one, here's one. And I'm kind of filling in here and there. It's so small, I don't know where the shirt is, where the leaves are, so I'm just kind of filling it in with some green. And then I'm gonna take the G28 and I'm just gonna add a little bit of shading. That's all I'm doing with that one. Just a little along the middle and the bottom. Middle and the bottom. A touch, a touch, a touch. Middle edge. A little bit here and there. Filling in. Okay, how we doing? Okay, flowers. So I did the little teeny ones here and here with a white gel pen and there, so I'm gonna leave those alone. We'll do those at the end. And then I've got some pink flowers and an orange flower in there. So we'll do the pink ones first. And again, I opened the wrong end of the marker. Good gracious. All right, we're gonna just color in these little petals. This is an RV04. And I'm gonna assume that there's one in there, and we're gonna put one over here as well. That's RV04. Orange middles on those flowers are YR14. I'm going to give this one an orange, that one an orange, and that one an orange. That one I did in brown because it's going to be an orange flower. So, but I'm going to put, you can see where I'm going to put a little bit of pink down here. There we go. And if you accidentally touch a leaf on this one, don't worry about it because you can cover it with your gel pen. Then I'm going to put a brown middle on this flower using E44. And for the orange of the flower, I'm going to use the YR04. Then I'm just going to touch the base of these ones that I did with a little bit of the YR04 just to give it a little more depth. Then I'm going to grab my YR06. Thank you, Kim, for linking that. And I'm just adding a little of the RV06 at the top of these petals, just again to add a little bit of depth. I'm just dotting it in there. And I can see I have some dark stuff in there, so I'm just gonna grab my G24 again, if I can find it, And I'm just gonna fill in where I didn't with the green. So I'm just gonna assume that there's a bunch of leaves in there, right? Just so it's not black from my ink. I just want green in there. I wanna fill it up with green. All right. Okay, then I usually do the white pen at the very end, so I'm not going to worry about that one for right now. We're going to leave that one alone. Then we're going to do her hair. And her hair, I started with a base of, so on this one I did something different. I had never tried it before. I'm going to wait till my camera catches up so I can see if you guys can see this. I wanted to see if I could get some color in her hair that was different. Oh, the camera doesn't really show it, does it? So I used colored pencils. I did a brown wash over it, and then I added pinks, yellows, and a light blue in her hair for like some springy, highlighty colors. And I wasn't like super in love with it. I thought I would try it. Maybe we'll put a little bit of pink tips in there or in between on this one, but I'm not going to put all the other colors in there with colored pencil. So we're going to start with a color wash of E47, what did I do? 47, E47. And hair, I always have to turn it so I can flick down when I'm doing the color. And I'm just flicking in, like I'm coloring, I'm mostly getting color in there. Not coating it completely except for underneath here where it's shaded. And I gotta flip it around so I can do the other side. There we go. So I've left quite a bit of little bits of white in there. And then I'm going to take, I kind of want to do blue. So I've got a pink pencil. This is a Prismacolor 929 Rose. And I'm going to sharpen it a little bit more because I want it to be super sharp. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kim. Okay, I got it super sharp. And then I'm just going to come in, and where it's white, I'm going to fill it in with this pink. And under here, because it's darker, I'm still going to add some pink, but you're going to see it just as a, instead of as a highlight. Oh, that looks cute. I like that better than all the other colors. Kind of fun. So it's pretty pink. So I'm going to take a brown pencil now, and this is a Sepia 948, and I'm just going to come in with some strokes of this brown. And I'm just going to add a little bit of depth and darkness with the brown now. And I might even go a little bit over the pink because it's a little pinker than I wanted, but it looks good. So we got some pretty good texture going on in her hair. Ta-da! All right. So moving on, we are going to do the deer and the bunny, and they are both pretty quick. We'll start with the deer, and the deer is E35, E37, E31. So the E37 for the deer is pretty little, like we don't do a bunch with that at all. I'm going to do a little bit underneath here, and I'm just going to kind of do flicking lines, the base of her ear, and underneath her little chin. Then I'm going to do a little bit here, and I'm going to do a little bit underneath because that's her leg that's, somehow I got a hair in there. That leg is shaded more by this one. So I'm just going to do that. And then a little bit there and a little bit around the back. And then at the feet, at the bottom of her feet. Just that, that's all I'm doing with the E37. Yeah, isn't the sweetest look? The deer just looks like just the sweetest little thing. Okay, E35 is next, and I'm gonna do a good chunk of that around the snout. And then I'm gonna come in where I had the E37 and just pull it out a little bit. I'm randomly just, choosing to pull in a little bit more of the E35 also. Oh, I forgot her tail. Okay, you had a phone call, just coming back. Oh, good. Thank you, Danny. Thanks for coming back. Oops, I grabbed the wrong marker. Let's see, I need my 37. Here we go. Forgot her tail. I want the base of her tail to be darker, so. Okay, then I'm gonna grab, so that was E3735. Now I'm grabbing E31, and I'm just gonna blend it all in. I'm gonna start here, and I wanna really work that a little bit because I don't want a line. I really love how the E30 series blend together. They're so pretty. Creates such a soft look. All right, and I'm just kind of pulling the color, kind of like I do with the skin tone, from the darker to the middle. Then I'm going to work my way down here. Ooh, my marker's starting to squeak. It's going to need to be refilled here soon, I think. I'm just trying to get it to blend by going over it. And once I can get it to blend a little bit, then I just keep pulling the color where I want it. Just going carefully around the little spots. It's really squeaking on me. All right, we're almost there. Last leg. And this one is darker because most of it is kind of hidden behind the body. There we go. Let's see, got a little bit more than of a line that I like here, so I'm just gonna work that a little bit. Hi, Janet. Okay, so there is our adorable deer. I am going to, I was gonna say, oh, ears. The ears are R11. This is kind of my new favorite R for the insides of animals' ears and noses. It's real soft. It's not quite as peachy as the R20 that I used to use. And sometimes I'll use like an E90, remember what it is. Can't remember which one it is. I'll have to look for it on the inside. So there's that. While I've got this R11 out, I'm just gonna go ahead and color the bunny's ears real quick and the bunny's nose. It's gonna get another coat when we get over there, but for now we're gonna leave it. Okay, so then the hooves and the nose, I did in an N6. Nope, sorry, N7. 6 or 7, either way. I need to get me a black gel pen because I think that would be so cute on the nose. E90, yes, thank you, Danny. That's the other one I use sometimes, is the E93 for the ears. It's just, again, a little softer than the R20, which is great for cheeks. That's still kind of my go-to for cheeks for people. And I'm just filling in the hooves. I'm not worried about shading, depth, levels, whatever with the hooves. They're small and they're there and they're good. So, all right, there's our deer. All right, so our bunny. Our bunny is W1, W00, and W3. I'm gonna start with W1. And I'm gonna do along the bottom of the ear, and around the outer edge of the face, and this part of his little nose, and around the arm. Okay, that was W1. Then I'm going to grab W00 and I'm going to fill everything in. So he'll read kind of like a light gray, light grayish color, light brown maybe. Okay, then I'm going to take the R11 and I'm going to give this little bunny some cheeks. And I'm less concerned about the cheeks being round on the bunny because I just think they're cute that way. So I'm using the R11. Just let it be for a minute or so. I'm going to grab the W3 and I'm going to pull in just a little bit more darkness. Then I'm going to go back over that again with the W1. I'm just building color, really. Just a little bit of color, definition. Kind of feathering it in. And then I'm going to do one more layer. Thank you, Janet. I love this little bunny in this set. So cute and really just so easy to color too. Like I like him in brown. I like him in this kind of gray. He's fun in white if you do like a winter bunny. So just pulling back in now again, the last bit of color. And then for around the white part of him, I'm just doing this W0 just to give it a little shading. And the tail. And then I'm going to come over the cheeks a little bit and the face. I don't want it too pink. There. Thank you, Danny. So no, I used to, Kim, I used to use the Stampin' Up! Whisper White, and they changed the formula of it, and I don't like it for Copic coloring anymore, so I've switched to Copic Express, and I've been getting used to it. I like it. It works pretty well. It just was a little bit of a learning curve for me for a bit, but I'm getting it, I think. So, okay, last step is the white pen. And where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to use the white pen, and I'm going to fill in the flower petals just so they look really white. I'm going to come down here to these little ones that are kind of floating off the basket. Excuse me. Looks like that one could have a little pink, yellow center. We'll get back to that one. And then I'm going to fill in the spots on the deer. I'm just going to put a little swoosh of white under the belly. Oops. There we go. Just for a little texture. I don't really want it to be shiny. I'm just giving it a little texture. Oh, you do? Oh, yes, I want one of those, Kim. Would you please, please, please hold it aside for me? One of them, a black glaze pen. I've been wanting one of those for a long time. I see a lot of people using them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's cool. Okay, and then I'm just going to give the bunny 3 little white dots on his little cheekies. And I think that was all the spots I needed to do white. I'm looking here, make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we got it. I might just add with my yellow pen. She winks at me. There we go. Put a little yellow center in there on that guy. All right, there we go. Let's see, I'll hold it up a little bit since it doesn't seem to be, let's see, I'll wait for my camera to catch up here. Very sweet. Okay, and then again, I'll show you the finished product from my first sample. So here I use the, oh gosh, I can't remember if it's called Luscious Leaves or Lots of Leaves stencil around the edge with the Lucky Limeade ink. And then I did a little panel there and used one of the sentiments and then just layered it on top of there with glue dots so that there's a little bit of dimension. And then of course added a die cut on there. So that is it. Thank you so much for hanging with me and for coloring. I hope that when you get this set, you will color it up too and share. It's a wonderful set to have in your stash. And I'm super glad it came back in so that we could play with it today. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a beautiful day. I am going to go bed shopping today, so wish me luck. And I will see you in Blogland soon. Thanks, Carla. Thanks, Margaret. Thank you, Kim. Ah, leaves and vines. That's what it is. Thank you, Kim. I had the leaves part right. Bye, everybody.